Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited about bringing on my next guest who's been on my show, I think at least 10 or more years ago. I have with me Maria Wojcik, and she is the owner of Driving MBA. Welcome back to my show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you all do.
Thanks, Carol. It's nice to be back. Driving MBA is a driver training and education. We're a tutoring facility, and we have a very comprehensive approach to driver training.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about it because, what I remember that it's pretty cool. It's very different, and I want you to explain how the facilities are. You've got two of them. One is in Scottsdale, the other one is in Glendale. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about what makes you so different first.
Well, one is the use of technology. We have two simulation labs. We have a driving fundamentals lab where students who have little to no experience start there. So they are learning how to drive on a fully interactive simulator, and it's all instructor-led. It's not just putting a kid on a machine and say, okay, go learn how to drive.
Right.
So we start there. Excuse me, and then we take them on the road, and we also partner with parents. We're not an easy bake oven. You can't just drop your kid off and we're going to pop out a new driver. And then we have a defensive driving lab, which is really phenomenal. We're able to put students, excuse me, in situations like head-on collision avoidance, tire blowouts, and those kinds of things.
That's so important. And I'm going to let you go ahead and do what you need to do while I talk a little bit. First of all, they are located in Scottsdale and Glendale. Their website is drivingmba.com, rated with the Better Business Bureau. You do assessments, and their phone number is area code 480-948-1648. And when you said that you do assessments, I wanted to understand why. Because a lot of people, I'm so excited, I'm going to be turning 16, and I get my license. I'm going to just drive with my mom and dad, and or I'm going to call. Do they all do assessments? I don't think so. Tell us a little bit about that.
So assessments are for students that live with learning challenges. ADD and ADHD has a huge impact on their ability to drive. Can they learn to drive? Absolutely. But there are strategies to employ to keep them safe out there. Students on the spectrum, if they're high functioning on the autism spectrum, the possibility of driving is there. We don't know until we start working with them. Those are the students that will assess and see whether it's a good time to start or whether there's some other behaviors we're looking for before we actually start them in the process.
What do you think that sets you apart from the other driving schools that are out there?
One is the use of technology. Two is our incredibly comprehensive approach, the way in which we train our instructors. We put our instructors through lots and lots of hours. We do in-services twice a year, so we make sure that they are well equipped. They have a lot of tools in their toolbox because not every student is the same. So they have to learn how to differentiate and understand how what's going to work for one student may not work for the other.
Their phone number, it's 480-948-1648. It's drivingmba.com. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. You brought up a very good point in terms of there are kids out there who are might have challenges and what have you, but still can learn to drive, still going to move forward in life, right? So they're assessed, and that is a really great thing that you do that because not everyone does. I want to also go back to, I want to talk about something. A lot of different people learn to drive.
Right.
Some people come here and I should learn to drive too, I'm telling you now. Especially here in Arizona, they should have special driving schools for everyone because they're the worst drivers in the world as far as I'm concerned. But let's talk a little bit about the kind of students that you work with.
Well, a big population is certainly the teenagers, but we definitely work with adults. We also do senior assessments. So when you have when someone's aging, then it's time
That's
to...
me!
Me too, honey. So and when they're aging, really looking at what their cognitive abilities, whether or not their reaction time, and whether or not they're really safe on the road. So we're able to do that in assessment. We start in the simulation lab, and so we're able to put them in situations, and we can sit down and have a frank conversation with the individual as well as the family.
Well, they're located in both Scottsdale and Glendale. Write the number down. Maybe your kid's turning 16 soon. You want them to go to a reputable driving school, and you are. I want to talk a little bit about the part that you mentioned, defensive driving. Okay, does everyone get that as well, or do they come in just for that? How does that work?
We have different packages, so depending on where, we have a significant enrollment process. So wherever you are in the process, adults, we also have adult programs where,
I was going to ask you.
I mean, for adults who want to learn more about defensive driving and sharpen those skills. It's a perishable skill. And we also do programs for companies, small companies, organizations that have individuals on the road as part of their job. That's a huge liability for companies. So we're able to put them through some training customized based on their needs and objectives.
How many people do you have that come to you that also are coming from a different country? They drive on one other side of the car or the other side of the street. Do you have people that come here and also have to learn how to drive all over again like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come in and they think they know how to drive, but I mean, you said it, Arizona drivers, I'm sorry, they're difficult. Let's put it that way. And so we're a hodgepodge of all these different driving styles from around the country because we're such a transient state. So, and driving is a dangerous
sport.
It's a dangerous sport. And think about putting your kids out there in particular and making sure that they are well prepared.
Well, I think people don't understand when you get behind a wheel. It's a wonderful, fun, and fabulous thing because you get your freedom, right? And that's a wonderful thing for the kids. But that vehicle can kill, right? And sharpening your skills and having them be prepared at going through a defensive course as well.
Right.
I think that's awesome that you offer that. Different packages, are they all on your website?
We have all the packages, and you just give us a call. We have enrollment counselors who will ask you questions, take you through the process, talk to you about pricing, send you information, and then you can make a decision based on what your needs are.
Again, that website is a drivingmba.com. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. Their phone number is 480-948-1648. You have one thing here I wanted to talk about too. What is the one thing you want parents of novice drivers to know?
I want them to understand that this is the most dangerous time in their children's life, and so to take not to poo-poo the whole. I can teach them how to drive. That's not necessarily the case. Because you know how to drive does not mean you can teach someone to drive. Do the parents need to be involved in the process? Absolutely. So really do your research. Talk to schools, find out what you want for your kids, and do what's best for them because this is a life skill that will last them a lifetime.
Right, and you want to make sure you go to a reputable school,
right.
And don't try and just go with the least expensive.
Exactly.
It's not about that, especially when this comes. And I was grateful. My kids are way older now, but I was grateful to be able to put them through a training. I felt so much better. And when you talk about parents getting involved, you said you get them involved in it as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But like my ex-husband, who is like a pretty good driver, my daughter still went through the house,
Yep.
And so things can happen.
Yes.
And when you think you're really good at something, when you're dealing with your children, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot different than when you have somebody else teach them. You'll feel better about it, and you know that they're getting training. Let's talk again really about your instructors as well.
They are
qualifications.
We look for individuals with a propensity for teaching. We look for patience. We look for specific characteristics, and we don't spend just a little bit of time with them. Here's the routes, go for it. We spend a lot of time training them in the different modalities that we use, and all the things that they need to know how to really help a student be successful.
How long are these courses? I mean, how long does it take for them to finally, that you feel comfortable with them, that they're now ready to go?
You mean for instructors or for students?
Students.
For students, it's a process. That's the other thing I'd like parents to understand. This is a process. This is not a class.
Take me 4 years. Okay.
This is not a class to check off things. It is a process. We follow your student. Your student may take 6 months. Your student may take 10 months. Your student may take a year. And it's about readiness, not about eligibility for license. Hear me, parents. That's what I want you to take away from this.
It's really important to be ready. And, some of us, we think that we're ready, and then we get them on the road, and it's extremely dangerous. We live here in Arizona. We all know how crazy the drivers are here. So let's make sure our kids are learning better skills than us older
and
folks,
better.
whoever is doing it, because we're nuts out here. But honestly, you also want people to know too, this is not just for the young. This is for also for adults. You said seniors too.
Right.
Want to sharpen your skills. Go on the website and check out. They've got the packages there as well. It's drivingmba.com. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. Their phone number again, it's 480-948-1648. What are your final words for people out there?
Be safe out there. Arizona's crazy. It's crazy drivers out there. So be safe. Stay focused on driving. Don't be distracted.
Question to ask you too. During the COVID, we've had a lot of people have more space and more. Mm-hmm. Are you finding that some people are calling you and say, you know what, I need to figure out what I'm doing here because I'm seeing all the accidents or I've gotten in
Yeah.
one? Do you have that happen?
Yeah. During COVID, we had this false sense of what the roads were really like because a lot of people were off the road. Now it's starting to get back to some level of normalcy. Yeah, it's different. And so we
want our kids to be prepared. Yep. You want to be prepared. Make sure that you check them out on their website. They've got some great packages, you said. Also, they're a reputable company here. You want to go to somebody like this. Again, their phone number to call, it's 480-948-1648. The website, again, it's drivingmba.com. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. Be safe out there, but let's make sure at least our kids are doing the right thing. Again, it's drivingmba.com. You should be